everyone. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. You know I'm with you when you write. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for the fair use for the purposes such as criticism, comment, news, reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by the copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing non-profit, educational, personal use, tips, and balance in favor of fair use. You know I'm with you when you write. Trees, you came on your live a couple months ago and you said that your son was a demon. Not my word, your word. That's what came out of your mouth. In my opinion on that, I don't think he a demon. You even said out of your own mouth, not my word, your word, he did a lot of things when he was younger. When he been about 3 or 4 years old, he just about give you HELL. Not my word, your word. Now, in my opinion, anytime when you have kids, the proper thing to do is get them counseling. Because you did say he was getting disabilities. So it's no excuse when that time come why you didn't get your child no help. See, we could sit all day online and explain how bad a child is and they did this and did that. But overall, you got to take accountability when you're dealing with a child who is 3, 4, 5, all the way up into their adult years. That's your responsibility. Now, if that child had act out accordingly, that's your job, is to get your child a proper counseling, get him some type of help that he need. But you rather sit online and tell the whole world what kind of ignorant, in so much words, child he was and how disobedient he was. Allowing, in my opinion, allowing your subscribers to attack him, because when they came on his page, overall got his page taken down. People was harassing him because I was reading the comments. It was wrong. In my opinion, I never heard for once that you came on your page and said, you know what, y'all stop harassing my son. In spite of we got our differences, that's still my son. You never did that. But lo and behold, if anything was to happen to you, I'm pretty sure your son would have jumped in like never before. Because most times we know boys love their mom and their dad. But they got a special bond with their mom in spite of. Even if mom can be wrong, kids and young men still love their mother. And I think that was very distasteful when you came on your live and you told the whole world about your son. You even told the whole world your son's business. You didn't wait until he get a proper age, in my opinion, and wait until he discuss his own personal business. You decided to tell the whole world yourself because that was content for you. All parents know that kids get on our nerve, but will we come online? Baby, we would never come online and discuss it with the whole world. I don't think so. You said he been a demon. Other words, in my opinion, you couldn't stand, you just didn't like him for the things he been doing. Now, say for instance, I had this to happen to one of my family members years ago. And when I took them to get checked out, they counsel the kids in the back. No adult is allowed to be in the room. And when the investigator came out, I asked them, like, how can y'all determine if a child is lying? They said they got some kind of special equipment, machine back then. They can tell if a child lying and telling the truth. Make the long story short, I helped get that child some type of counseling at the time. And overall, I did all I can. Okay? I didn't went online and blast it to the whole world. There's certain things you don't do to your family or your friends or people who you say you love. But you made it your business because that was content for you to let the whole world know, because you didn't like what he was saying at that time. So you know what? I felt it in my heart, like how you always do. You come online, in my opinion, and you out people. You out people, everybody, and then you turn around and out your son when that time came. That was dead wrong. It's rules and regulation against different things, but some people may beg the different. But I see otherwise. You know, a lot of things you could have kept behind your closed door to keep people from knowing. But when you put it out there and then people start talking about it, it's a problem. Then you want to get lawyers. You want to do this. You want to do that. Y'all want to put up people's name, not knowing if you don't win the case, they can come back after y'all for money too. So before y'all sign up for these public platforms, because it's public, YouTube is worldwide, know the rules and regulations and the ins and outs. I'm not trying to tell you as a mother, as a woman, what to do with your child. But when you put everything on the full front for the whole world to see, it's all my right to voice my opinion on it if I choose to. Now the young man have gotten himself his own place. And if you sit there and you poison them other kids' mind from talking to their brother, and if the authorities even get a whiff you doing that, because there's laws against that too, you will lose all rights to your kids. So a lot of things not worth it when you online telling your sister, your other little kids, oh, your brother did this, he don't love y'all, he this and he that. Don't you know some things can actually cause you to get prosecuted than to help you? When I saw that, in my opinion, I was so upset when you sit and you try to turn the other little kids against their brother. Now, we talking about a young man, your son, in my opinion, who lived with you. You left him with the kids several times on live while you went out to have a good time. Instead of you try to make amends with him and make everything right, you decide to go online and bash your son and tell the whole world how disobedient he is. And that's what caused the people to start terrorizing him, in my opinion. And some of y'all adults out there who sat and allowed this to happen and think that was okay for Miss Allen to terrorize her son online, shame on y'all. Because anytime when a child go through any type of abuse, in my opinion, any sexual abuse, etc., it doesn't matter. Any authority will tell you when it's pertaining to a child, you got to believe that child until proven otherwise. So when some of y'all came on y'all live and y'all said, you know what? I don't believe him. I believe the mama. How distasteful that is, being parents. So that's showing the whole world, each and every one of y'all who sit on y'all live and y'all say, you know what? The young man was wrong. No, he was right. Kids are innocent. When they're born into sin, but they still have their innocence until it's taken from them. So that means kids going to be more pure. Most time they don't know about lying unless it's being taught to them. And overall, you got to believe a child over and out. That's just the rules, regulation. That's just the law. Until it's proven otherwise. So who, in my opinion, is supposed to get blamed for this? The child or the grown adult, in my opinion? In my opinion, the adult. Mr. Courtney decided to take a lie detective test, prove that everything that he was saying, allegations, in my opinion, was correct. That he wasn't lying. Now ask yourself this. Each and every one of y'all want to bash the young man, which he still is a child, still need guidance. Because if he didn't have the proper guidance being a child, now he is older. So that means he's still going to need the proper guidance now. So, did anybody ever take in consideration to ask Miss Allen, can you please go back up and take the lie detector test again? Ain't nobody questioning her about that, but she could come online all day and every day if she chooses to and bash him. Y'all see how kind of odd that is? And I'm not trying to throw her under the bus. I'm coming from a real good place right now. I want to know, the people want to know, does it make it right for her to just walk around if she didn't take a lie detector test? Per se, she said she took one and she failed due to the fact of constipation. See if that was true. Don't you know these investigators got different ways they can reword things to find out if you lying or not? Huh? But see, some of y'all so weird. Some of y'all know everything. to a point to where you don't believe the child, and shame on you. And if you have kids, I can only imagine what your child went through if somebody was doing it to them. You'd probably tell the child and brush them off. Shut up, don't tell nobody, keep it a secret. And some of y'all mothers are just like that, in my opinion. I don't hate Miss Abby. I might don't like the things she do, but I don't hate her. Now, you got another young child. You came online and said, oh, she got a light hand, however the kids may go. Get your kids some help, sweetie. In my opinion, that's just my opinion. Get her the proper help she needs. Because one thing I do know about kids, and I got both. When you sit and you condone such act from a child, you raising your own child up to be a weapon towards you. So when that child start, in my opinion, getting older and start whipping your tail, start taking things from you, start cursing you out, because if you allowing these type things to happen, in my opinion, it's going to happen to you. One thing I do know and I understand, when we have kids, we teach kids rules and regulations to be respectful. No ma'am, yes ma'am, no sir, yes sir. Or yes or no, thank you. Or no, thank you. But when you're teaching your kids to do the opposite and saying, you know what? I raised some pretty fine kids. Yes, by all means that I see on the internet, yeah, they seem like pretty fine kids. But you always got to remember the things that you do, in my opinion, behind closed doors, is going to bite you back in the tail. It's coming back. And when it do, ain't nobody to fault except yourself. And that's why sometimes some of these grown women on the internet who sit and condone this mess and got the nerve to call that young man, shame on them. And I can only imagine the things their kids went through. Because when you got people who condoning this mess and okaying and said it was okay at that time that child was lying, I can only imagine what their child went through at that time. And most time people give their opinion based on their experience. So I can only imagine the experience they went through, telling their child they lying to keep a man. Because I even heard some women say it's better to have a man there than to have none at all. So you telling me, in my opinion, this for anybody who watching, and you telling me a man is more important than your child? Any woman who thinks so, they are garbage. In my opinion, garbage. Teach your kids the right thing. If that young little girl, your daughter out there stealing however the kids may go, it's going to bite you back in your tail. And I always tell people, when you got kids who doing criminal acts at a young age, this is a learned behavior from somebody who is older. So a lot of parents teaching their kids to be criminal at a young age, teaching their kids to be killers, in my opinion, at a young age. Teaching the kids to go to jail at a young age. Ain't no good coming out of wrong that you do. Get you and your kids the proper help you need. That's why people looking down on you and saying the things they're saying to you on the internet. Instead of you make it better, talk that crazy mess about your kids behind closed door, but you choose to bring it on the internet. How many times I gotta keep telling you, don't bring it on the internet? There's so many content out there, but when you bring it to the world, like how I say, and they voice their opinion, you get mad. This is crazy. I promise you, as me standing here today, in my opinion, when them kids get a certain age, they're going to talk. Ain't nothing going to be trapped and hidden forever. I tell anybody, when you go through things, it's just not your time, it's just not your season, but give it time, it's going to happen, good or bad. So some of all y'all out there say, you know what? I'm a root for the grown person. I'm a root for the child first until proven otherwise. And Lord forbid if I made a mistake, forgive me. But kids are innocent. They really don't have no voice. And it's the type of stuff we see over and over again. This young man had proved himself and still got dragged in the mud and the dirt. Even if he not what you want him to be, you created him. He came out of your womb. That's why I always tell people all the time. When you got to turn your kids against one another, that's a demonic act, in my opinion. That's what you call demonic, evil, wicked. So always remember, you're going to face what you put out, regardless if you want to accept it or not. It's coming. But now he is getting on his feet, and I'm saying this to say this. Sometimes everything that look bad ain't always bad. Mr. Courtney, everything ain't bad that look bad all the time. Sometimes I believe you go through your trials and tribulation only to make you stronger, to put you in a better place than what you in right now, that you was in, per se, in my opinion. But as you get older, you will look back at it and say, you know what? I won't even be where I'm at right now. My life won't be the way it is if I never went through what I went through. And that's why I always tell anybody, some things may look bad doesn't mean it's bad. Some things that look bad is for your good. It's really good, but the eyes see something bad at that time. And some things that we go through at that time, in my opinion, is not to tear you down, but it's for you to help somebody else when that time comes. I be thinking every beings upon this earth, we all got to go through some type of trials and tribulations to help somebody else out as we elevate, as we get older, as we elevate, as we gain more knowledge. We're going to go through good and bad, and we got to elevate to help the others that's coming up. That's why I say I'm nothing. I don't ever act like I'm better than nobody. Anybody on this internet act as such, they're a fool. And some fools you got to overlook. A fool is a fool. You can't change that. Especially when the mind telling them something totally different and the whole world is falling to pieces. So you hold your head up. You got your place going. Do what you got to do to keep your place going. And Miss Allen, if you is causing your child to lose this internet access, you is dead wrong. Because whatever energy you put out there is only a matter of time when it's going to come back on you. You don't like your child, leave him well enough alone. You got to come on the internet saying bad things, in my opinion, about him. That's crazy. And why would a mother or father, in my opinion, hate their child? That's crazy. Don't you know the child is a product of you? That's part of you. Your DNA. That's part of who you is in general, in my opinion. I've never seen such thing ever in my life. Sometimes I seen the little young girl, in my opinion, get so disrespectful and you don't say nothing. You just sit there. So remember, everything you do, your kid gonna do it to you. In my opinion, that's how it goes. You don't condone their foolishness and laugh. When my kids been younger, I tore their tail up. Tore them up. Discipline them. That child don't have no type of discipline. One thing you would tell her in your little soft voice when it comes to her, in my opinion, don't do it no more. Don't do it no more. Plenty of days, it's going to make you cry, I promise you. It's going to make you cry. Oh, but I forgot, in my opinion, nobody can't tell you nothing. And that's why you continue to be certain people content on this internet, because nobody can't tell you nothing. Especially if I'm coming from a good place. Somebody may take this and say, you know what, she coming from a bad place. Some people will take good and make bad out of it just because. That's why it's very important to gain wisdom and understanding. Instead of you try to make it right for good with your child, you rather no. That child cried out, in my opinion, to you in front of the whole world, and you didn't care. In other words, you trying to see he doing it for the money. Well, ask yourself this, in my opinion, when you come online, do you do it for the money? It just seems like everybody from the same place talk the same kind of talk and walk in the same kind of walk. I said, my gosh, there's no difference. So you telling me he doing the same thing you doing, but he doing it for the money. Then let me ask you, why are you doing it? So y'all please like, share, and subscribe to Love of Revolt. Thanks for tuning in once again. See you next time.